Welcome everybody to my YouTube channel, and in today's video we're just going to make it quick and direct, right? We're going to talk about why you should buy and stop renting. So it'll be short, or at least I'll try to make it short and just get straight to the point. So number one reason why you should stop renting, I'll give you 5 reasons as to why you should stop renting, okay? The first reason is you're paying somebody else's mortgage, or you're making somebody else rich. What do I mean by that? I mean, in some way, shape, or form, we are all making each other rich, right? So if you go to the gas station, you buy gas, you're making owner of the gas company rich. If you go to the grocery store, same way if you go shopping for a car, right? So I'm not saying you're going to eliminate that. But here's the thing. For instance, if you're renting a single family house, the owner of that house, let's say they're charging you $2,000 or $2,500 a month. Let's say $2,500 a month. Their mortgage might be $2,000 and they're making $500 a month, or maybe even just $200 a month, but they don't have to worry about their mortgage. You're paying their mortgage for them. And we'll get deeper into that. Somebody is gaining equity in that house while you're paying for it. And we'll keep going. Let's say you're making somebody else rich. How? Let's say they've completely paid off their mortgage. Now that $2,500 a month you're paying them is just money in the bank. Mortgage is paid for. All they got to do is save that money. So that's the number one reason why give that amount. And this is a low estimate really in the state of Maryland. I've seen rents all the way up to $4,000, $3,500 in some areas, right? Why pay that much and not own any of it? Just doesn't make sense to me. The second reason as to why you should own rather than rent is you're losing out on equity. So remember the example I gave, and when you're paying somebody else's mortgage and they are building equity, I'll explain that. And let me just take my personal example right here, right? 2 years ago, I bought a property for $310,000, I believe it was. And when I checked on Zillow like last week, it appraised for about $340,400. So we're just gonna round it off to $340,000. So in 2 years, it has gone up in value by 30 grand. But what Zillow doesn't know is I've been renovating the property on the inside for the past 2 years. And I plan on continuing to do so, inside and outside. Painted, done a few things with the yard, and I got some more work to do on the house. So let's just say all of the money I put in and the effort I put in to renovate this property, if I go hire a licensed appraiser and they come out and they say the house is worth $360,000, right? Keep in mind, I bought it for $310,000. So let's do the math on that. And in the 2-year span, I've been paying my mortgage. I've paid down the balance on the loan from 310 grand to 390, I believe. The reason why it only went down 20,000 is because the first few years for every homeowner, the first few years of a 30-year mortgage, you're paying mostly interest and not so much principal, right? But either way, it has been paid down to $290,000. Now let's do the math. So if I go appraise the house, the 340 that Zillow says, plus let's say the 20 grand in repairs or so that I've done and renovations, when you subtract 290,000, that's $70,000, right? $70,000 in value of the home. If I were to sell it today, I can just pull out 70 grand from that. Well, there are some costs that come with that, but anyway, we'll keep going. Now, here's the key. I was looking up this stat. They say 51% of Americans who make over $100,000 a year live paycheck to paycheck. You say, oh, I want 6 figures. 51% of people who make over 100 grand a year live paycheck to paycheck. They don't save. Keep that in mind. And now the average American, 65% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. Out of the high earners that make 100,000 plus a year, 51% of them live paycheck to paycheck. But just on the average American salary is about 50 grand, right? A year. 65% of those people are living paycheck to paycheck. Now you tell me, with those numbers being what they are, how many of those people are going to be able to save $70,000 in 2 years? And that is just my personal example as to why you should buy and stop renting, because you're paying all this mortgage. And if I were to take a wild guess, you're probably one of those 51 or 65% living paycheck to paycheck. Even if you're not living paycheck to paycheck, you may or may not, but I doubt that you have saved up $70,000 in 2 years. I personally haven't saved up $70,000 in 2 years as far as cash saved, but buying a house has done that for me. It's just something I want to share with you. We're going to go to number 3, but before we do that, please like this video if you find value in it, or leave a comment down below if you have any questions or just something you want to share with people about home ownership, right? Or better yet, just subscribe for more, because I'm going to have more videos about home ownership, real estate, and things of that nature. All right? So number 3, let's get back to the video. Number 3, you can't claim it on taxes. So imagine you pay $3,000 or $2,500 a month on rent. And at the end of the year, you cannot claim that on tax. Unless that place that you're renting is for a business, but this is your personal residence. You can't claim that on taxes. However, the person you're paying it to, even though you're paying them, they get to claim that property on when they file their taxes. They may have to also state the income they made from the property in certain jurisdictions as far as a rental income and things of that nature. It's an income. They have to state that, but they still get to claim it on taxes as far as the property. It may not be a whole lot of write-off, but it is something. The less you can pay Uncle Sam, the better, right? And that's why people get mad at the wealthy for all these tax strategies. As long as you stay within the letter of the law, these are provisions the government gives you to claim your house. You know, benefits of being a homeowner. So you're not claiming it on taxes. Something to think about. You're losing out on a tax write-off. Number 4, as I mentioned, the home will appreciate in value. If you look at houses in America and history, they've always gone up in value. Only a few things can cause a house not to appreciate in value. And the main reason why houses always appreciate in value is just population growth, right? The supply and demand thing. So if you got, let's just estimate roughly, you got 2 million houses in an area, and then the population of that area increases from, let's say, 1,500,000 people to 3 million, you're going to need houses for those people. So you don't have enough houses, and that's why the market even hasn't crashed right now, because even though the interest rates are crazy high, there are still a lot of people looking for homes. Not enough homes for everybody, right? So as long as the population continues to increase, supply and demand, population increases, the demand of houses is high, but the supply is low, the value of your home is going to keep going up. So the only time when your house value will come down, certain areas, we know them in America. Don't want to single any neighborhood out, but we know them, where high crime has been continuous for decades after decades after decades. Some areas you see high crime, then you see gentrification and it changes, and then that value goes up. However, some areas, they've tried to gentrify it just hasn't worked, and it's just constant crime. Some areas are just known as murder capitals, or just violent crime capitals of America, to where the value of the home can never go up. Just don't buy a home in that type of neighborhood, right? So your value, the equity in your house can grow. If you buy a house in a neighborhood that perpetually is always a high crime area, you may lose value on your home long term. And also unforeseen catastrophes like the recession, for instance, right? Nobody saw that coming, the housing market bubble. That's why I have a separate video down below about how to purchase a house, and don't get into subprime loans and things of that nature. Keep yourself away from that. But like I said, subscribe to this channel and we'll talk more about that. But in sticking with this video, unforeseen catastrophes like the recession, or some kind of something we don't see, you know, like a war or something catastrophic that really would happen to just make all the housing market crash completely. So barring those things, for instance, China, let's give the Chinese example. due to their population decrease, it's not guaranteed that their real estate market will continue to grow, because they built a ton of houses and the population isn't quite keeping up with that, right? So we've seen these ghost towns and things of that nature in areas. So barring those type of catastrophic or unusual occurrences, your house will continue to go up in value. And the fifth and final reason as to why you should own and not buy is it helps build your credit score. A family member of mine sold a house last year and they were in the process of building another home. And as soon as they sold their house, credit score dipped tremendous from the 800s all the way down, right? Just having that on your credit and paying your you have to pay your mortgage on time. It makes it's of no use to you if you have a mortgage but you don't pay it on time. That would actually hurt your credit. Bad, really bad, you know, if you miss payments, right? But if you pay it on time, homeowners that pay their mortgages on time tend to be in the 7s and the 800s. It's just something, it's a big loan. And if you can constantly pay that on time, it will help your credit score tremendously. Well, I hope this video has been of benefit to you. So if you're tired of renting and you want to become a homeowner, you can call or text the number on the screen. I would say texting is probably better just due to the schedule. And if I don't know the number, well, it's a business number. So 9 times out of 10, I'm going to pick up or return your call. Is just, to be quite transparent, the schedule is very busy, right? So sometimes people that don't understand may take it personally as though you're not trying to get with them. I say, just text me. As soon as I see a text, I'm more likely to return a text quicker than a voicemail. So please text the number on the screen or send an email to the email on the screen. And what we'll do is you tell me by when you want to purchase a home, and together we'll set up a step-by-step process and a deadline, a plan on how to get there. Just say, I want to buy a home by this time. Then we look into where you are and we set up things you need to do to get there. All right. And if I'm in your local market, I'd love to be your agent. But if I'm not in your local market, I'm pretty sure we can be able to find somebody that I know in your local market that will be able to help you. All right. And finally, in the description down below, I'll leave a link to the video where I discuss the step-by-step process of becoming a homeowner. All right. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching, and good luck in all your endeavors. And I just hope you become a homeowner and stop the rental cycle. It's very beneficial for you in the long term. Buy assets, not liabilities. We don't want to get into people who got Teslas outside of an apartment complex, especially a rundown apartment complex. That is a topic for a whole nother day.